Well, hello again. If you're anything like us, we're still cleaning up after Christmas, trying to get things organized, finding room in the refrigerator to store what was left over from the meals. But we're getting there. We did get the tree down, that sort of thing. We don't leave ours up very long. Anyway, a few things have popped up unexpected, unplanned, unannounced, and I need to cover them. So you guys get the benefit of watching another unscheduled video. And I've been putting up, a couple of 2 and 3 minute types, but this one's going to be a little bit longer than that. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. The first thing I want to do is talk about a couple of our subscribers have sent me a Christmas card. This one is from Tom MGB. He gave us a Merry Christmas, wishes a Happy New Year, and he also wrote a nice letter, inside the card, which he always does. Very nice of him. And he said that he he paid attention to my stock market investment videos I did, a year ago, I guess it was. I can't remember how long it was. And I mentioned Southwest Airlines as a good investment. He went ahead and threw some money into Southwest Airlines, and he's making good money in return. Good for him. I'm proud of him. I knew it would happen. The second thing we got was a card from Brian Leffingwell out of Ohio. He said thank you. He said he enjoys watching my videos. He was thinking of us during the Christmas season. I think of everybody, actually. I wish I could mention everybody in every video, but I just can't do it. I just hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. I really do. And along with the card that Brian sent, he included, I don't know what I'm going to do with you guys. I say this every time. I am not worth this kind of effort, guys. He sent some CDs. Johnny Cash. Collector's Edition. Country Legends. This one here is a special edition also. These are metal containers, by the way. He sent Country Love Songs. 3 CDs with 40 songs. Very cool. Kathy Mattea. I've already listened to this one. This is a great one. King Crooners. What we have here is Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, Perry Como, and Frank Sinatra. The younger guys have no idea who these folks are. They may know who Frank Sinatra is nowadays. And some of them may have heard of Bing Crosby, but Perry Como and Nat King Cole, I doubt it. The older crowd knows that. The younger crowd doesn't. And the last one is 62 country stars on CD. It was this 3 more compact discs. Then there was one other item sent to us by Ron C. You all know who Ron C. is. Hopefully you watch his videos. If not, you need to do that. He's into the amplifier side of the house. And he had this sent to us prior to Christmas. It was very nice of him to do so. He shouldn't have done it, but I can't stop him. What can I? I try to stop these guys from doing this, but I just can't do it. Anyway, by the way, I ate up all the chocolate and caramel. So a couple of these were square candies with chocolate. They glued them together. In fact, they got to have a crowbar to get them apart. But anyway, the little flat ones like this, they were good. It was chocolate and caramel. It was delicious. Now this one here is dark chocolate. So I like those too. We'll polish them off later. I got to kind of lay back on the sweets for a while. I ate way too much over the holidays. Well, we all know what that means, don't we? Shout out to Tom MGB, Brian Leffingwell, and Ron C. A couple of months ago, back in October, you'll recall that we went to Orlando, where John, our youngest grandson on the left, competed in the ESPN Wide World of Sports Taekwondo Invitational. Fortunately, he came out on top and he won his event. Now, his buddy, Nathaniel, he too showed up down there, but he was not there for the ESPN competition. He was there to compete in the Nationals. There's 2 national competitions a year. One in Las Vegas, one in Orlando, Florida. And Nathaniel, fortunately, came out first in a couple of those competitions, in a couple of areas of the competition in the Nationals. And, they went home big-time heroes because they both train and teach at the same school. Well, let me show you a little something extra that came about just recently involving these two young men again. Anyway, when they got back to Bentonville, Arkansas, just recently there was an expo put on by the school where they both train and teach, and they put out a flyer, a poster, which announced the expo and the seminar where they would talk to, potential students that want to learn the art of Taekwondo, karate, ATA, Taekwondo. And here, let me show you what the poster looked like. There it is. Is that the cool? Is that the coolest thing? This is Nathaniel doing it. He does that too. He jumps up and spreads like that. He's very good. He's a 2nd degree. John's a 3rd degree. And they announced it as district champion, Nathaniel, and of course world champion and ESPN champion for 2016. When I saw that poster, a copy of it, a photo of it was sent to us by John's mother, my daughter-in-law, and I told her, I said, I got to have one of those. I have got to have one of those. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just love it. I think it's great. They stuck this in, I guess, all over town. Or anyway, when the expo was all done, they demonstrated what they could do in front of the kids and the potential students and everything. The students came up and they signed their names, both of them. It was a big deal for them, I mean, you got to understand, this is 15 to 16 years old. And they signed their names. They were big-time heroes. Well, I just think it's neat. The whole thing is just so cool that these two boys were recognized. I just want everybody that watches the videos, who keeps up with my videos, to see some of the latest happenings with these two in particular. Well, let's take a look at the last item on the agenda. Today is the 27th of December, 2016. Christmas is over, and I got a call from our good buddy, Glenn King, who's a member of our ham radio club. What is your official title? You're the keeper of the goods or something?
I'm the custodian.
The custodian, yes. Well, you'll remember a few months back, in this, was it the spring, I think it was, I came up here and I did a YouTube video where we brought this tower in the backyard of Glenn's house here, and we hooked the tower up right here, and then it just laid there on the ground, and that was the end of it. And that was a pretty nice video. I got a lot of responses on that, and I told Glenn, I said, hey, look, when you do the next step, be sure to call me. We all want to see this thing through to completion. And he said, I will do that. Well, that's good. Guess what? It's a nice warm day out here today, nice and great, and he has already fixed a lot of stuff to the antenna, this being a rotor, which will be controlled from inside the house. This is the relay box. Now this relay box will have one control cable to inside the house and 4 cables to 4 different antennas on the tower, right?
Yes.
Right, okay. And he can switch between them with this box. Now, this is all the cabling that he's hooked up here. Now this wire is stress relief. That's just a regular old piece of wire, right? Okay, that's strain.
Dot 109 galvanized steel wire.
Dot 109 galvanized steel. That's pretty cool. And this thing here. Now, he also has connected up his hoist system. Now, this is a system that he designed himself. This is his cranking handle right here. Cranks pretty easy. And he designed this himself. Now the whole design on that thing was part of the antenna mount that you designed yourself too, right? He said yes. And up here is where it goes. It's a one-man operation. He could go ahead and crank that entire tower up with just a few twists of that thing. It's very easy, by the way. And he's going to go ahead and mount, what is this thing right here? Now this is a beam antenna, right?
5-element, 6-meter Cushcraft.
A 5-element, 6-meter
Cushcraft Yagi.
Oh, it's a Yagi, yeah, Cushcraft Yagi. I'm not too much on antennas yet. There's still a beam antenna, right?
It's a beam.
Yeah, okay, that's a beam. And that thing there will be mounted on the end of this thing right about in here, right there. You see that mark right there. And then we're going to mount something else on here. What is it? Oh yeah, one on the top. What's the one?
2-meter 440 diamond dual bander.
And it just clamps around, but it just passes down. That's what the cabling's out there for, to run it down to the relay box. And then, what is this bar right here? All of this he installed since the last time. Now this is a thrust bearing right here, which takes a lot of the load off as the thing is rotating by the rotator, right? Is that what they call it?
Yes.
The antenna rotator. By the way, that rotator runs, you said, what is the voltage of that rotator?
It's very low voltage. It's AC motors.
Just an AC motor, about maybe 25 to 30 volts, right?
Yep, something like that.
Okay. And then this bar right here is another mounting bar. This is something else you conjured up your own, right?
Well,
And what do you plan to mount on it? It goes all the way across.
40 meter on one side and 80 meter on the other side.
40 and 80. Boy, I'll tell you what, this is an elaborate affair. You know, this is not an elaborate affair for a fellow like Glenn King. A fellow like me who's just, you know, just really hasn't gotten much into the antenna side of the house. Not yet.
I don't like using antenna tuners, so all of my antennas are resonant.
All are resin. How do you know that?
I set them that way.
Oh, okay. So you tune them before you put them on.
Frequencies I use, I tune them.
And they stay that way even though you mess around and get them up in the air, they're still the same. So you don't use an antenna tuner?
I don't use antenna tuner.
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh yeah, I'm old school.
You've been a ham since when? What,
1965.
1921?
Yeah, might as well.
Anyway, this is really a great setup. And now this, let me take a look at this big old cabling. Now this cable here goes down around, loops around, comes back up and goes over here. Where does it go over here? Look at all these cables. I'd get confused just looking at the cables.
3 sections of tower. As the tower goes up.
Oh yeah. You got to have a little slack, don't you?
Slack. So
Yes, you do. So John knew that. Yes, John did.
Yep.
All right. So what is next now? The next thing you're going to do is get this antenna on. Now you're going to raise it up on this wood right here. And the reason for that is he wants to raise it up high enough in the air that he can go ahead and put his antenna on without having to use the hoist and keeping a lot of tension on the hoist.
The next thing I'll do is completely jack it up.
Before you put the Yagi on?
Before I do anything else, to make sure this is all
Aha. Yeah, make sure
right.
the cable's right.
I
Just
have measured this and measured this. That's something else. Nowhere in the book does it say anything about how long these cables are. So I did the calculations and came up with 17 feet.
So now you're going to find out
Now
the proof
I'm
is
gonna
in the
find
pudding.
out if what I calculated is correct. So,
Well, when do you plan to put that up in the air to do that?
oh, probably next few days.
The next few days.
I'll do that.
Well, listen, now keep in mind, for those of you who've never seen this thing, this is a 3-section antenna. That's one section inside of another section inside of another section, correct? Mm-hmm. And they telescope out, and when you get all done, how high did you say it was going to be?
It's top of this plate will be 54 feet high.
54 feet. And this antenna requires no guy wires.
No guy wires.
That's really interesting.
Self-support.
And all these brackets you see here are just simply here to hold the cable. Make sure the cable doesn't, flop around up there. Now, you can't even fasten this cable to the tower, can you? Because it's going to be going up and down. You can't have that thing fastened. All right. Incidentally, let me show you this box right here. Do a little close-up. This is a Meritron RCS4 relay box. Is that a rather new box? And the cable going inside the house will be this one right here, which will control it. And then he'll have 2 antennas here and 2 antennas here. It says antenna 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and he can switch between them, between the various band antennas. And then the 2 on the end, the 440 and the 2 meter, you said it was?
Yeah. It's got a separate coax.
Yeah, they have separate coax cables that will run into the house and be connected to the back of your Kenwood, what'd you say it was?
TS2000.
TS2000. Now that TS2000 can handle all 4 of these cables plus those 2, right? You said there's 6 connectors on the back? How many did you say on the back?
4 connectors on the back.
Okay, now.
2 for HF, and you can select how you want them to run. And then there's 1 for 2 meter and 1 for 440.
Which will be the 2 in the front.
Right.
Now that still leaves us with two connectors. Okay, so you're only going to use these 2 plus these 2 up there. Oh, okay, so these 2 that are open here, they're going to stay open, aren't they?
Nope. They'll have 80 meter and a 40 meter antenna.
All right, let me discuss this with Glenn a little bit, make sure I know what I'm talking about. Hang on. Okay, I just learned that my buddy Glenn is cheap. I was under a misconception. He just straightened me out. He's gonna mount one antenna there. He's gonna bring it up and he's gonna hook it to this bottom connector you see that's open right there. Then he's gonna hook another antenna on this pipe on this side. He's gonna run a cable across and he's gonna hook it right here. Now what antenna is gonna be going over to the left here? What is it?
40 meter.
40, and over here's an 80, right?
80 meter broadband dipole.
Okay, now what that does is all four of the antenna cables plug into this box, and instead of having to run all four cables into the house to your radio, I guess, the back of the receiver, and I guess, is it hooking the receiver? Is where it hooks in?
Receiver, transceiver.
Okay, transceiver, yeah. All he has to do is hook this one cable. That one cable right here will control all of these. Now that still leaves the 440 and the 2 meter on the top of the tower. Now those will run via separate cable and connect to the back of the transceiver, right?
Yes.
So actually when all the wires are into the house, all the cables are into the house, you're going to have 3 connections. On the back of your transceiver, you're going to have this one right here and the 2 out here, one being the 2 meter and the other the 440, right? Well, I think I finally got this figured out.
Okay.
Well, that's where we stand right now, folks. I was talking to you, I think earlier, he made this. You're going to crank this antenna up and then put this underneath and then crank it back down and let this take the weight off of it while you mess around getting this antenna.
You've got a few minutes, I'll crank this thing up.
I've got all the time in the world, my buddy. All the time in the world. I'm on vacation, didn't I tell you, till the 3rd of January?
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, not lucky. It's called prior planning.
On vacation I'm on.
Well, I'll be on the vacation soon. Yeah, hopefully I'll be retired. But I've got, I think it was 11 days off. It only cost me 1 day of vacation. Not too bad, huh?
Too bad.
There she is going up. How far are you going to take it?
All the way up.
You're going to take it all the way, ladies and gentlemen. I decided to spell Glenn here for a while just to see how hard it is to crank this baby up. He said this cable and winch is rated for 2,500 pounds, which is about twice the weight of the antenna, or the tower with all the antennas on it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see how I'm cranking this one-handed now. Not too hard at all. Takes a while though. All right, I got a little tired, so I put the youngster back on it. He's only 67. He's just a kid. I'm going to start calling you Sonny, okay? It's going up. Let's see how we're doing here. All right, she's getting on up there. And one thing about cranking these things up, the higher they get, the easier it gets. The weight begins to shift back this way. So I can really crank it up practically by 2 fingers. Real easy. All right, we're almost there, and I'm going to show you just how easy this thing is. I'm going to do it with 1 finger. Look at that, 1 finger. Man, am I all powerful or not? Still cranking with 1 finger. Up she comes. Now it's going to fall way over on top of me. Okay, I guess we're done, huh?
We're done.
All right, piece of cake. Now old Glenn's going to go ahead and put the bolt in, which will secure it. Normally, you're actually going to have, what, 3 in there before it's done?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you finally get it up, keep it there permanently.
Yeah.
He designed all of this himself. Everything. Right here, this does not come with the original tower mount. Right here is a stop. It's a metal square stop that was welded on right there. And when the antenna comes swinging up, the bottom of the antenna right here hits against that stop, keeps it from going too far. Good idea, Glenn. If I didn't know better, I'd think you're an old ham. Well, there's the wife calling me, as usual. By the way, the last time I was here and filmed the initial part of this operation earlier in the year, I mentioned these fire hydrants that Glenn has in his yard. And I said, wow, this is really cool because, you know, if any... I mean, he has one here and he has another one over there. Matter of fact, it's laying on the ground right now. See if I can zoom in on it. You can see it laying in the ground over there. It would be right about right there. I asked him, I said, wow, that's really cool. You got some really neat fire hydrants, and the house ever catches on fire, you're going to have no problem, water everywhere. But it turns out that's not the case. He put these here to give his dogs a place to take a leak. All right, I just got done cranking. Now it's Glenn's turn to crank. He's going to put it up to find out if these cables are long enough to still operate once the tower is fully extended. We'll find out. I can't see much of the sun in my eye. Yeah, there we go. These are the cables we're talking about. Hopefully he's got enough. He said he calculated it on paper. We'll see. Old Glenn just got over an illness here not too long ago. He needs to be taking it easy. But we're getting it there. I made him go to the house, get me a glass of water. I was thirsty. This is a long job, let me tell you. Look at that baby, way up there, my God. Well, I just got done cranking. And old Glenn, he's over here on an ego trip. He got the wire just right, didn't you, buddy? You got it just right, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Now, no bragging loud, okay? Well, there it is, all the way up. Wow.
Now we got to turn it down.
Well, I think bringing it down won't be quite as hard as getting it up. No. Okay, now tell me the truth. The only reason you called me up here today was to help you crank this antenna, right? I knew it.
Mount it.
Well, that's it. She's back on the ground. We now know that the cables are long enough, so when it's extended, they'll reach with no problem. Glenn, I appreciate you letting me come up and crank my brains out on your antenna. He says the next time I come up, he'll have the Yagi on it. He'll have I guess you'll have the 40 and 80 meter, and the 440 and 2 meter on it. And there was one other one, wasn't it? No, I guess that's about it, huh?
6 meter, 2 meter, 440, the 5 element high gain.
Yeah, the 5 element high gain. Where does that one connect in? You didn't show me that. That one's going to connect into the one.
Right here.
Yeah, I'm talking about it'll plug into one of the extra holes on this
The
bar.
wire's already there. Here's the cable.
Oh, okay, you've already got it connected. Oh, okay, I see it. All right, we got it covered. Well, that's it, folks. I hope all you young guys learned something from all this. There are motors that can do this for you. But we being Arkansas He-Men, we don't need no stinking motors, right? Until next time, this is John.